Hello, my darling doves. As you can see, we are continuing our series tonight with the element water. Now, as we have talked about, we are going around the elemental compass. So its direction is west. My compass is north to south, west this way. We're moving around. We are almost done with our elemental circle. It is represented by the season autumn. The best time of day for working with water is evening or twilight. So just after the sun's gone down and you get those beautiful colors splashing across the sky, like seeing a beautiful sunset on the ocean. Think about those brilliant colors and then the stars rising above it coming into play. As far as chakras, water is representative of the sacral chakra. So think about around the lower end of your spine, your tailbone, about 3 to 4 inches below your belly button. That root chakra right there, not the root chakra, but it's down. It's the second chakra of the body. As far as signs, of course, we have our wonderful water signs, myself included, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. For ruling planets with water, we have Neptune, Pluto, and of course the moon. The tides respond to the moon's gravitational pull and energy, and as such, the moon rules over this element of water. Now, colors, this should be a no-brainer. Blue, silver, turquoise, and of course white. Thematically, you will notice every element is represented by white because white represents all things and is a combination of all colors, all elements, the purity of light coming together. White can be used to represent any element when you're doing a summoning. So if you don't have specific colored candles or items to invoke with, you can always just use a white candle as long as you're summoning with the intent of the element that you desire. Now, as far as invoking the element when you're doing a sacred circle or doing spell work that requires elements, of course we have blue candles like this, which often are going to be easier to get a hold of than certain other things. You could also use, of course, a special chalice or cup if you have a special one in mind. Often people do prefer metal for these kinds of things so that they're less corrosive. Hagstones, which are stones that have holes naturally worn into the middle of them by the ocean. Seashells, classic, can't go wrong there. Seaweed, coral, things that grow in the water or only come from the water. And then, of course, any special waters that you've acquired. I've brought a couple up from my lower shelves. Whoopsie. For examples, this is storm water from a big storm we had several days ago. I've dated the top and labeled it as storm water. And then this is full moon water from the full moon we just had, the 23rd, that I purified in my windowsill overnight. Now, different waters can be used for different spells. Some people will use full moon water, new moon water, storm water, ocean water for different things. You don't have to be that particular about it. For instance, most people would say full moon water is kind of the clear quartz of the waters. When you're doing spell work, it can be used for anything, anytime. It's great at just channeling energy by itself without specific meaning. But those are all invoking symbols. Now, when we think about water as an element, the human body is made up of over 60% water. And that's depending on how well hydrated you are. You better be well hydrated. I will come for you. But being that water makes up such a large part of us, it also connects everything inside of us, opens those channels, allows thoughts, memories, and energy to flow freely within us. It opens our emotions and our hearts, like the tide pushing and pulling to allow for that greater understanding. is transformative. Think of how water becomes ice in the right conditions, but also becomes steam. And think about water wearing away at the side of mountains for years and years and years and years until you get pathways and riverbanks. Or how sea glass is naturally polished by the waves beating against it slowly and surely over time. Just like water can transform nature, we can use it to transform ourselves. Other symbols, of course, for water, it symbolizes our ties to our ancestors. Again, being made of 60% water. Whoops, pardon. You have to think about the amniotic fluid, the water of the womb that we sit in before we are born. Contains the same DNA and the same water that flows through our bodies, that flow through our ancestors. It's the one thing that our ancestors passed down through generations that is more closely tied to us than our DNA. And that's why they also say the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, because the water of the womb is what ties us together. Now that quote means something different entirely, but for our purposes, it does illustrate our ties to our ancestors. Also cleansing. Think about the power of a cleansing rain. How storms wash the earth new and let us start over. Divination and dreams. Water, clouds, mist. Symbolic of the things that we feel but cannot see. The things that we know are out there, just beyond our reach. Emotions. Also friendship. If you've ever spent time swimming with your friends, playing in the water, being little kids, I want to play mermaids. Oh, how long can you hold your breath? Let's count. Those are the moments that bring us together while we are safe in the water's embrace. It is also a symbol of fertility. Again, the water of the womb, or rains making land fertile again so that new crops may grow. And it is a symbol of happiness and also healing. Those strong ties to our emotions. It is also a symbol of intuition with the divination and the dreams. We also have our intuition, our inner selves, and the way that water helps us unlock that. It is a symbol of love. For true love runs deep as a well that you can constantly pour from. It will never run out. It is also a symbol of self-healing, doing that work on yourself so that you can grow and change and be healthier and happier with who you are. And also a symbol of the subconscious, right along with the intuition, that voice in the back of your head. And we talked about the amniotic fluid of the womb, but there's also your cerebral fluid within the body, cradling your brain, protecting it, moving things around inside of your brain, contributing to the way that your brain works. The fluids inside your body do more work than we realize. And all of these tie into who we are and how we grow and how we learn and how we change. A lot of growth talk, considering we're not on Earth just yet, but we will get there. Now, moving on to our crystal associations, we have amethyst, lovely purple amethyst, version of quartz, stone of wisdom and intelligence. and also intuition and many, many other things. Can I do this without burning myself? We shall see. Also aquamarine. Lovely pale blue stone. It used to be birthstone for, I believe, March until they changed it to blue topaz. We also have blue fluorite and blue tourmaline. Tourmaline? I think I say that one wrong. On all three of those, the blue variations specifically. Also lapis lazuli. Another lovely blue and white speckled stone. Great for encouraging creativity. Actually part of the bracelet I'm wearing here, I know that for sure. It is a bracelet called Creative Wisdom. Lapis lazuli features prominently along with a couple other stones. And then we have moonstone. Being that the moon rolls over it. Moonstone, of course, is a symbol of water. It has strong attachments to it. And then we have opal, similar to moonstone but with more rainbow color affects. Lovely variations of opals. We have pearls, of course, being found in the water, in its denizens, growing in adorable little clams, mussels. What am I thinking? Oysters. That's the word. Hiding behind their shells, waiting to be harvested. You can harvest pearls without hurting the oysters. You can get the pearl out and throw it back if you're gentle. And the oyster will thank you, because pearls are actually made of coating that an oyster forms to protect itself against irritation from sand. Grains of sand or other irritants then get in their mouths, and it starts forming the pearl as a coating to protect it from the sharpness of the irritation. So anytime you hold a pearl, it's literally something the oyster made and you are taking home with you. And then we also have sodalite to round out our list of crystals. Stones, gems. Pearls technically are considered a gem even though they are not a stone per se. As far as our plants, we have aloe, of course. Very liquidy inside, also great for healing. If you have a bad sunburn, aloe is excellent for burns. Apples. Juicy apples fresh off the tree, very full of juice, which comes from water. Also a sign of fertility, apples are. Chamomile flowers, like what we use in tea. Great for sleep spells, sleep aids. Also banishing negativity and protecting yourself from curses and spells. Many types of ferns, all varieties. Remember, these lists are never just about herbs that you can stick in a jar, but also trees and larger plants. Jasmine. Another one that also makes great tea, but I have jasmine flowers here. Lemons. Lilacs. I love the smell of lilacs. Lotuses, which grow from the water. Essentially, they grow from the mud in the bottom of a riverbank and anchor themselves in there and then sprout up into beautiful flowers. I have a tattoo of a lotus on my leg, actually. I'm not going to show that today, but also moss, which we see in terrariums that people construct in jars like these. You put in some moss, a little bit of water, you can create a self-contained, beautiful ecosystem. And it thrives off of just a little bit of water every once in a while. Moss can depend almost completely on water with just a little bit of dirt. And the water lets it grow. Passion flowers, beautiful, symbol of love. Also roses. Roses are considered to be water associated. Seaweed, of course, which we also mentioned earlier in our invocation list. Thyme, wonderful herb, and willow trees. Beautiful swaying willows in the breeze are considered part of water. As far as tarot goes, water is, of course, the cups suit, as we've had before. But instead of doing tarot cards like we did last time, I figured the Moon Witch Oracle deck, which we've played with once or twice before, was a bit more appropriate considering that water rules over the moon. So let's see. Now remember, oracle cards are slightly different. They are just a sign or a message that we need to hear. They're not going to be the same as a tarot card where they have a bunch of different meanings. They are just going to give you a short message, and what you see is what you get. But it can still mean many different things. But you don't do, at least in my research and performing, you don't do as many big, varied spreads with oracle cards like these as you would with a traditional tarot deck. So let's see. Focusing on water. Those energies that we have coming into our influence right now. Thinking about the moon. What is the message that we need to hear? Ooh, okay. Vision. Lovely card art. And the smaller text down here. Get clear on what you want. So it's giving us a little bit of advice. So it's, again, that intuition mixed with the subconscious, the things that we talked about water representing. It's telling us to get clear on what we want. That means that we maybe don't know exactly what we're looking for right now, or maybe we have too many things on our plate and we need to get a little bit clearer on what we actually want versus external forces, things that might be muddying us up a little, slowing us down, distracting us. But that is a great message, and going into a new week, I think that's something that we should all definitely consider, is making sure that we're tackling a new week with a clear directive that is going to help us succeed on our goals. So let's take a little bit of time and meditate on that together. And set our intentions for the coming week. Perfect. I won't keep you any longer. I know that probably raises a lot of questions and you've got some thinking to do. So we'll call it here. Thank you so very much for joining me. I love you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.